Okay, so we left off on California. I came back from San Diego, California. I had moved there. But okay, before that happened, I called him when I was in California. I said, listen, you know, just checking in. I'm in San Diego. He said, well, how's it going? I said, well, it's going okay, but not really that good because the guy that I came down here to be with, yes, I went to met some guy. He turned out to be married. And so Mr. Heathcutt says, great. I said, what do you mean great? He goes, good for you. I said, no, it's not. He's married. He said, no, good for you, but sad for his wife. He said, so leave the bozo and go on. Do you have a place to stay, a job, so forth? I said, well, I'm staying with this girl. He said, okay, well, it sounds like, what do you need to do? You need a job. I said, oh, yes, I do. And then you need a place to stay. You have your car. Yes, I do. So he said, well, call me when you get all that done. Okay, within 2 weeks, I got a job at California First Bank right on 5th and B Street. And I got an apartment. And I started just working and doing my thing. And I called him, check in. And he said, well, what's going on? So I told him, listen, I learned this thing about acrylic nails. This was about it's probably 82. I said, there's a thing called acrylic nails, so I'm going to learn how to do acrylic nails. And he said, oh, well, that sounds like fun. Is it like acrylic on the floor? And I said, no. I said, but it's kind of a fun thing. So I learned how to do acrylic nails. Long story short, went back to Seattle and met up with Mr. Heathcutt for lunch. And he said, well, what are you going to do? You're back here. Are you going to work? And, or start a business? And I said, well, I'm going to work at Mario Milan at the Westin Hotel. He was a guy from Italy, and he had this phenomenal salon, and I was the skincare specialist. I was the esthetician and did the nails. And from there, I met a wonderful lady named Gigi, another lady named Olga who taught me Juliet's from the old country, from Russia, and several other places. And then Mr. Heathcutt and I had lunch again, and he says, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to start a nail salon, professional skincare nail salon. He said, well, who would come? I mean, I bite my nails. Who's going to come there? And I said, well, your wife will come, your daughters, your daughter-in-law. And he said, oh, okay. So what do you need to start that business? And at the time, it was difficult for me to say $2,500. So I said, I don't know, about $1,800. He said, you can start a business for $1,800, really? And I said, yes. He says, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He says, I've never mentored a girl before, but I'm going to mentor you. I said, mentor? He says, yes, you'll be my protege. He said, normally I mentor guys. He said, but this will be the first one with me mentoring someone who doesn't, I don't know anything about skincare and nails, but I'm going to let you take the lead. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to meet with you. We'll meet twice a week, and we're going to meet 8 times. And he said, and in those times, you will have a pen and you will have paper that I'm going to supply you. You will write down the questions. Do not ask me any questions. Write down any question that you may have. At the end of the 8 weeks, most of those questions will be answered. He said, so you will go with me to lunch twice a week. You will go where I take you. You will do what I say and ask no questions. He said, is that agreeable? And he said, because if it's not, let's stop now. And I said, okay. And he says, I'll write you a check for $1,800. You only give me back next year. You give me back only the interest. And I said, okay. So we met, and it was quite interesting because the first place he took me was to a Thai restaurant. And he says, you've got to try different foods. And he shared with me so many things, so many things that I want to share with you.